That's one of the players that I was looking at when it came to looking at the top 2 seeds of the pools. And I believe a Ness player coming in full force. He shares that same pool with SkyJ, actually, the Incineroar player.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, SkyJ, man, big shout out to them. Speaking of other players I'm a big fan of, SkyJ, an absolute menace on the sticks. But
yeah.
AndrewT and Zephyr right here about to give us a show right now up here on this top platform. You know not to play with either of these two characters on them platforms, okay? Down tilt from Ness is not to be taken light. You can get caught in a really bad spot. But speaking of being in a bad spot, a few up airs for your troubles as we kick this off. Okay, all I can think about here in this matchup, Vicky, is we're going to put a lot of percent onto each other, but when it comes down to it, somebody's going to need to take them stocks, and I feel like Ness just has better options in them darker red percents to clean up a stock. Boom, there's one of them.
Like what you were saying, it's just a very, the yo-yo too that could also scoop you up underneath the ledge as an active hitbox, by the way, is another problem. And I was going to say the wall of hitboxes from Ness is incredibly scary. If that was a fair from Zephyr, that would have been actually the stock. But the fair answering back from AndrewT, recognizing the situation. But it's what you were saying. I believe Ness, at least in this matchup, is essentially that wall of hitboxes that Pikachu has to deal with, especially when it comes to trying to recover. Your recover also extends your hurt box as Pikachu, so that's something you have to worry about when it comes to those yo-yo down smashes or even up smashes.
No doubt about that. And it just kind of feels like Zephyr's getting a little taste of his own medicine right here, at least for the sake of Pikachu, you know, just being able to toss out hitboxes, being able to kind of apply that pressure to your opponent. I mean, you can do that versus Ness. I got to be honest with you. I don't know if Pikachu wants to keep trading with Ness. Very smart here to get him off stage. This is where you capitalize. You can't beat him in the ground game because he has PK Fire to stop you. Then you can also absorb your Thunder Jolt. So you've lost an approach option. Get his ass off stage and hit him.
That's why you want to be able to catch that landing, especially with those platforms that come right back in. But with that smash attack, Zephyr is going to be able to take that stock. He's only taking 55% here. And I really like the way that you pointed out, just trying to take advantage of AndrewT when he is off stage, because that's where those fairs are really going to shine for Pikachu.
That's right. I mean, Esam has said it best. You know, Pikachu, one of the best edge guarders, if not the best edge guarding character in the business. And I mean, if applied properly, Ness is a sitting duck out there. But of course, you know, there's a very small window where you got to really get out there and apply that to Ness. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'll say it once, I'll say it again. It's like a job opportunity. If you're on time to punish Ness off stage, you're late. You got to be out there already, and then you got to turn it up.
That's how you know this isn't Cuban out here. We never make it on time to anything, and you can barely see the way. That's how we work. That's how we work.
Hey,
the back air's coming in too. I like the way that you can clip it, but it's about being on time, like you said. You got to make sure that you're always here on time, and it's about timing those edge guards, especially with those fairs. Tries to catch the landing there, but I like the way that Zephyr's recognizing the situation, but you can't whip in front of him, especially so close to the blast zone.
Now you already know you're in some real trouble up there in them platforms. Really for both characters, but definitely here for Ness. Oh, delicious. I'll take that. No questions asked. Down to nothing off the F smash. Probably anticipating an air dodge backwards. Of course, Pikachu's F smash with a lot of range on it. Not quite hitting the mark, but another nair out of shield. It feels like every time AndrewT, you know, sees something tossed out here from Zephyr, whether it be a nair, back air, forwarder, he's just nairing out of shield.
Oh, the answer back from the downer to trying to get the back air right there. You can see how desperate Zephyr is just trying to catch his landing again. He tried to pull out the up smash originally, but DIing right into that fair, getting hit by that last hit at the same time. And you have Ness with rage that's even scarier against a character like Pikachu.
Oh, no doubt about that. I mean, it's getting pretty scary hours right here. This is just as frightening as it could ever be. Ness with the KO options on deck, and then of course up throw down B is not going to work. I'm going to be able to absorb that. I can't Thunder Jolt into something great. I'm going to absorb that too. You're going to have to either keep it up here on these top platforms, which of course is dancing with fire as we've seen in that first two stock interactions, or I got to get him off stage. There's a PK Thunder though. Off your feet, up air, off the mark, but here's the back air.
And you know Zephyr wanted to try to get across with that back air himself there too, right out of shield. Usually get to see that a lot from Pikachu, especially since he's been getting caught from the Ness fair every time he tries to do his own fair.
That's
right. It can be really lethal in general, especially since what you were saying before. You can't T-Jolt in this situation. You can't use Thunder in general. That side magnet is literally your arch nemesis when it comes to this matchup.
Yeah, and I mean, Pikachu has mobility and the framework to really, you know, mix it up just because of the mobility and the frame data. But, you know, I think when it really comes down to it, Pikachu is a damage outputting machine. But when it comes to KOing, there are very specific situations and interactions they need. And, you know, just losing Thunder Jolt and Thunder, two of Pikachu's most famous moves, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what makes Pikachu Pikachu. When you lose it, you're in some real trouble. So I think they've picked up on that. Zephyr, of course, switching over to Palutena. Let's see if we can get a switch up.
I do like this option a lot more here, but I also am a big advocate for whoever you feel comfortable playing in this situation. But as we've seen Ultimate Age, we've been seeing a lot more players understand that you need to try to pick up much more of these characters so that way you can try to counterpick some of these harder matchups.
That's right. And I think Palutena is a pretty good switch here. Of course, just being able to last a little bit longer, not quite as light as Pikachu, but also just being able to really hold strong. I got forward air, or excuse me, I got back air, and I have dash attack as well too, which of course is going to make a Ness of any caliber think twice before they start running up on you, just pressing buttons.
Okay. Like the patience way here, though, from Zephyr. Actually not trying to jump in Andrew's face because of what we saw before with those Ness spares, actually controlling a wall of hitboxes for him. Ooh, catches a jump there with the back air. Oh, my goodness, and was able to get back by the skin of their teeth right there. Down there was on the ready. PK Fire, of course, has not found an answer for that. Palutena does have the reflect option, but we're not seeing it come through. We're seeing AndrewT just kind of give us a rinse and repeat of what we've seen with that Pikachu match. Ooh, catches him with the up air. DIing all the way towards that platform, though. Still can't make it back to the stage.
Yeah. Oh, walks the dog on him. Now, see, this is, I gotta say, AndrewT, every Ness player, every player, of course, is different. I really feel like AndrewT's whole thing here in this match is, are there platforms? Yes. If there are, I'm keeping you up here. And if you try to come off haphazardly, I got forward air and back air on the raid. That seems to be something Zephyr's really struggling with here in this match.
Catching him always. Finally, Zephyr is, though, on that stage. There are no platforms present to mix up that landing and for Andrew to actually keep up that pressure as they make their appearance right back. Maybe expecting a roll, but I love the patience so that way he can get that grab, send him back off stage. Has to forcibly recover a high, not even going for the platforms like you said, but to avoid exactly that. That hit that is constantly active underneath the stage that can clip even Palu's recovery. So it's not just the peak on the situation, but obviously it's that teleport as well.
No doubt about that, Vicky. And I got to give it to AndrewT, just kind of giving us this less is more type of, mentality in this match. I mean, there is the buttons game that I can most certainly play. Of course, I can try to toss out PK missile to close it out. But when it's really all said and done, just being able to approach properly, not worrying about back or not worrying about dash attack, and almost being so patient that we're allowing Zephyr to make the mistake first, and then I'm capitalizing. I'm just doing PK Fire. I'm just, punishing accordingly. You toss out something, I'm coming through in a big way. There's one dash attack finally hitting the mark, though. Nothing off the up air. I love that. Oh, there it is. He said, nah, get that PK Fire out of here. I got this shield, homie.
And what was extra scary, too, is you see Andrew trying to duck a little bit. Could be a bit pesky to try to hit Ness for how small he is. Gets the drag down out of that up air, but he's still got a whole other stock to dive into right now. 105, he gets the grab. He gets the back throw currently, but a nice DI with no rage on Andrew's outside. Okay,
has to go for the high recovery, hold shield. At that point, I think if you just hold shield at the ledge, all you're worried about is like nair out his shield or back air. Of course, not in a good position right there. Forward back throw, down tilt though, trying to pin you down. But of course, it's the back air out of shield that closes it out. AndrewT doing the damn thing.
Been seeing some pretty quick games coming up, Rod. It's actually, it hasn't really been that back and forth that I saw earlier in some of the earlier matches today.
Yeah.
But it's difficult when you feel like you're getting pressured, you have to go for a swap up. And in Zephyr's case, we didn't really get to see that reflect that I was expecting, at least in that matchup when it comes to dealing with Ness.
Okay, so I'm glad I wasn't the only one thinking about that. I was like, okay, he's eating so much % off of PK Fire, really struggled to kind of DI out of that, which, the minute you're in it, you got to DI out. Because, Ness is like, oh, they don't know that they got to DI correctly out of this. I'm coming in for the follow-up. And so he switched over to Palutena thinking maybe we're going to reflect. It can't be auto reticle because I'm going to eat that.
Yeah.
It can't be explosive flame because I'm going to eat that too. So I was like, it has to be the reflect. It has to be the ability to stay alive a little bit longer and then to use, again, dash attack and back air. But we only seen those options come out maybe once or twice. So not exactly sure what the game plan was. Zephyr, of course, a very polished player, but AndrewT is just the man. I mean, what I'm saying? So did his thing.
It's the use of the PK Fire to catch the landing that definitely got me, because a few times we did see that Zephyr burn the double jump when there were no platforms there. So you are forced to land and where Andrew was going to try to predict to catch you. So even the PK Fire was that, even if it didn't land, was that unnecessary pressure of understanding like, oh, if he controls his stage space, then I'm forced to go to the ledge. But if I go to the ledge, he's been constantly using the yo-yo